Welcome to Firearms of America. Today, as you guys can see, I have another pair of Danair boots for review, and these are Danair Vicious NMT work boots. Now, just previously, a couple of minutes ago, I was doing a review of Salomon Outline, which are very lightweight, very easy to run in boots, but do not offer a lot of protection. These are the complete opposite. These are the heavier boots, but you do get all sorts of different kind of protections on these. Composite non-metallic toe, you do have the Gore Tex waterproofing, you do have the slip resistant bottom sole, you do get just 100% leather. It just feels like built like an absolute tank. The price is currently between $150 $180 on Amazon. There are a few different options. There is a taller shaft, there are different color variations, so you will probably, if you're looking at this boot, you will probably be able to find exactly what you need for your personal preferences. So if you have time to watch the whole review, let's get into it. This was a brief overview. As some of you already know, this review is specifically for my Ultimate Survival Boots section. Basically, if this was your last boot that you put on and something really bad happened, pandemic, riots, and you had to run through these riders, fight on the way, and then go to the safe place where there is no pandemic, although pandemic is a global thing, so I don't know. But anyway, if you had to travel for long distances, if you had to climb, if you had to fight, do all of the different things that are needed to be done to survive, would this be a good option? So how do we make the judgment? We make the judgment based on 8 different criteria. Let's get into it. Criteria number 1, comfort level. Of course, to test the comfort level of a boot, I do a 3-mile run without stopping, and then a 5-mile walk, again without stopping, no breaks in between. The total wear time is between 7 and 8 hours. So let's get a few things out of the way. The weight, of course, one of the things that impacts the comfort level. 26.3. Now, usually I say that if you want a lightweight boot that you can more or less comfortably run in, that you can travel for long distances of time, for long periods of time, for long distances, you will want to get something that is under 20 ounce. And this is, by the way, size 10. This is, of course, heavier than 20 ounce. And you can definitely tan. Running in these boots is very, very hard, especially considering that the toe is composite. 3-mile run was pretty hard. After 1 mile, I was barely making it. It was really hard. But there are a few other things that kind of take away from that easiness of wearing and running besides the weight. The factor number 2 is the stiffness of the bottom sole. Now, you do get a lot of protection from, anything penetrating or anything like that with this bottom sole, but with that you sacrifice the stiffness, the flexibility of the bottom sole, which, god damn it, no, that can't do that. Yes, it is very, very stiff bottom sole, so it is practically impossible to run in these boots properly, putting most of the impact at the front of your foot. You do put some impact on the heel here. Now, of course, you do have your inner sole, and Danair, they are very good whenever it comes to inner soles, and here they did a great job. They implemented a lot of, as you can see, cushioning. Also, you do have a heel bed, so you do get decent amount of, impact protection in this inner sole because of the inner sole itself and the way it is constructed. However, because of the stiffness of the outsole, because of the weight, it kind of takes away a lot of that comfort that you get from the inner sole. Keep that in mind. Also, of course, you do have your cushioning, which does contribute to the comfort level. The shaft is nicely cushioned, the tongue is nicely cushioned. However, one thing that I wanted to point out, there isn't a lot of cushioning inside of the toe box, and I really wish that Daner implemented more of that cushioning there, especially considering that this is a composite toe. It just feels very hard. If you are buying these boots, I definitely recommend you getting some very thick socks just to add to that cushioning, because you will get fatigue, you know, in this toe box because it is so hard. Okay, so done with the comfort level. Let's move on to the criteria number 2, proofing and protection. And proofing, of course, really quickly, you do have Gore Tex waterproofing GTX. You probably already noticed. Of course, you do have your slip oil resistant bottom sole, which we will talk about a little bit later, and of course the protection. Now this is where these boots definitely do shine. You have your non-metallic composite toe, hard toe, which goes all the way up to here, pretty good, so your whole toe is covered. Of course, you do have your 100% leather, which adds up to that durability. You do have some pretty good padding in the shaft, so it gives you some decent ankle protection, and of course you have your reinforced heel as well. So whenever it comes to the proofing and protection, this is really where these boots do shine. Let's move on to the criteria number 3, quality and the design features. Now, quality wise, these boots do have a lot of reviews on Amazon, almost 5 stars, and overall I never had a problem with the Daner boots whenever it comes to the quality. One of the best brands, boot brands, definitely to go with. Now, whenever it comes to the design features, usually here I talk about the lacing system, and here the lacing system is really good. There are 2 pairs of open hooks here, as you can see, and there are 4 pairs of closed hooks. Now, I wanted to point out here with these closed hooks is the fact that, as you can see, they do feature this heavy duty plastic, but they do have the metal hooks actually inside of those plastic kind of enclosure, and what that does is it helps you with the tightening process. Basically, the strings, they just glide through those hooks very nicely and easily. I think definitely a great system. Of course, because the hardware is metal, kind of adds up to the weight, but because it's easy and fast to put these boots on and take them off, definitely a plus for our survival scenario, because you do want to have boots that you can put on fast if you need to. Okay, so let's move on to the criteria number 4, which is the outsole traction and stability. Now, this outsole right here is oil resistant. It is slip resistant. So you do have all of that slip resistance. However, you probably already noticed that there isn't really a lot of aggression going on this outsole. It's more of a flat outsole. So keep that in mind. I test all my boots on a variety of surfaces like newer tarmac, older asphalt, sand, rocky road, wet grass. These boots perform well on most of these surfaces except for the wet grass. A little bit slippery on this. They do shine, however, on flat surfaces like tile, marble. So if you're thinking that you will be wearing these boots more on those surfaces, you're gonna like these. I would not recommend this outsole, of course, for ice or snow because there is barely any aggression here. Keep that in mind. Now, speaking of ice and snow, let's move on to the criteria number 5, temperature. These boots, I was wearing them personally here in Florida. It was almost 100 degrees weather. Definitely running on the hotter side. Yeah, right, with all the 100% leather. However, because they're Gore Tex, they actually do have some breathability to them. Pretty good overall. Keep that in mind. Now, if you want to get them more for a winter situation, you can. They don't have any kind of insulation, but if you get some insulated socks with these boots, they might be actually pretty good because they are waterproof after all. Just don't wear them on snow or ice. Okay, let's quickly talk about the sizing. Now, no problems with the sizing at all. They do run true to the size. I always get my boots half a size bigger than my normal shoe size. My normal shoe size is 9.5, and my boots I always get in size 10. And I definitely highly recommend you do the same with these boots, specifically because this is a composite toe and there isn't much cushioning from the inside, so you definitely want some extra space in your toe box. You'll thank me later, because if you don't have that, your toe smashing in the front of this is gonna get fatigued pretty quickly. Okay, so very briefly, balance of application. Overall, I think it's a good boot, great quality. Danair never lets down with the quality. If you are the type of person that prefers to have more of protection and doesn't mind sacrificing the weight and getting a heavier boot, you will definitely like this boot. Personally, I am more of a lightweight boots, less protection type of person, but again, it really comes down to personal preference. And if you really just getting this boots for work in mind, as long as you're getting with some extra space at the toe box, I think you will like this boots. And the very last criterion, really quickly, price. Price, like I said, is between $150 and $180, depending on the color, depending on the size. I think it's definitely fair, considering that these boots do provide composite toe, they do provide the Gore Tex, they do provide all of this oil, slip resistance, and overall, 100% leather, of course. I think it's definitely worth the price. So let me know in the comments below, guys, what you think about those boots. Would you get them for your work situation? Would you get them for your ultimate survival situation? If you have any requests, drop them in the comments below. I will be happy to put them on my to-do list. All the links are in the description below. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. This was Firearms for America. I'll see you guys in the next video.